Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Walker, who sent a couple requests. So thank you for your patience and your generosity, Walker. I do appreciate it. I know one of the requests you sent was for Final Destination 3, which of course came out before this, but since that was you sent that in much later, there's other people that were before you. I think that's fair for me to get to them first. Just I'm trying to go in order. But yeah, I will get to your others as soon as I can. Thank you so much, Walker, and everyone else out there. And for anyone interested in requesting any type of review, movie review, re-review, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, tier lists, rankings, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, streams, commentaries, reactions, random topics, whatever the case, PayPal's the best way to do it. Do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. Now, this is the final destination, which is funny because there were two more after this. That's We have to learn that. Anytime they say something is the final, it's never the final. The final chapter, the final Friday, the final nightmare. It's never the final. Which is also a lazy title, because the first was called Final Destination, so here's the fourth, the Final Destination. Now, before we start, let me go into this. I like the first one. The first one I think is really good. I like Devon Sawa and the cast. You have a young Sean William Scott in it. I like the idea. I like the Rube Goldberg methods. The first one tried to take itself a bit more serious, try to be a bit scarier, while the others are just trying to be more bloody fun. And for those who don't know, that was meant to be an X-Files episode. It didn't come about, and then the people who made the film, they had written on the X-Files. They go, okay, well, we'll turn this to a movie on its own. It was successful. You got a sequel. I saw the sequel, the second one, in the theater, and loved it. The first and second film for me are the only ones I like. The third film, which I'll do that later, I don't know when, but a bit later, I might have seen it in the theater, I don't know, and I'm kind of like, okay, this is wearing thin. This is where it starts to wear thin on me. And when I got to this one and the fifth one, I went, okay, enough is enough with these motherfucking deaths and this motherfucking shit. Enough's enough, man. It's the same goddamn movie now, over and over and over again. And I did it. I mean, compared to a variety of other movies, does Final Destination 4, which I'm calling this, in this review, I'll title it right because people go, what the hell, that's not the title. But it's the fourth one. Does this and the fifth one, which will be the review after this, compared to other movies, they're easy to watch because it's just you're waiting for the next wildly complicated Rube Goldberg. At least they're trying to be somewhat creative in the deaths compared to just the regular stab and the regular this and that. And they're short. Like, this is an hour and 16 minutes. So compared to like some of the more pretentious A24 horror films, or compared to, Alien 3, it doesn't piss me off like that film does. Like, these are, you just say they're harmless, so I get the fan base, I get why people are into the films. I like the first two. It's just when you get to a film like this, I go, okay, it's the same fucking thing, and they're not really doing anything that different. And for me, I think this idea, there's a lot more you could do with it. There's a lot more creativity you could do with it. There's a lot more with the plots you could do with it. And the characters. Like, I don't mind some of the characters in the second film. I even like the guy who, and I'm bad with names, but he's the guy's like, hey, could you, go to my room, and if I die, and get rid of my porn stash? I don't want my mom to find it. Just something about the way that guy said the second film was so earnest. It kind of like made me feel bad for him. But we got like starting with the third, and I just stopped giving a shit about the characters. They're just pieces on the board for the game of death. And I'm not talking about Bruce Lee. It's like, oh, here's the next group of suckers. Wait for them to die. And now we get to the point where everybody dies. Like, now everybody's going to die at the end. Because that's become the typical thing. Everyone's going to die at the end. They all did the third one, and they all do in this one, and they all do in the next one. It's not a damn spoiler, because now it's just predictable now. They all die. They all fucking die. Everybody dies. If he dies, he dies. It's directed by David R. Ellis. I like the director. He directed the second film. I thought that was a fun one, like I said. He did Snakes on a Plane, which I like. He did Cellular, which I think is underrated. He did Shark Night, which I wasn't a fan of. This I wasn't a fan of. That was a time where he really wanted to delve into 3D. 3D can be a fun gimmick, but at the same time, in home video, unless you have like the best 3D TV you could get, from like it doesn't translate to 3D doesn't translate to me at home. To be fair, I don't have the equipment for it, but even when it's you got those red and blue or whatever glasses, I actually kind of see, but not really. And once in a while there would be a 3D thing, but thankfully that has died down. And like watching it at home, the 3D gimmick just, I don't think it has a long-lasting life as some people do, because you could tell just people throwing shit at you, and we're paying more attention to that than the rest of the actual movie. And for me, the rest of the actual movie matters more than this. It may be a fun gimmick to see at the time, but long-lasting? I like Friday the 13th Part 3, but you know what's annoying? The yo-yo and shit going in here. Get the fucking yo-yo out of my way. I'm going to strangle you with it. I'm going to stick up your ass and use you as a yo-yo. So David R. Ellis, rest in peace to him. So he's done films I like. This, not so much. And the formula just got to a point where you just predict where the fuck everything was going. And it just felt like such a... I mean, they even mentioned deja vu in the movie, but the whole thing felt like just a constant barrage of deja vu. And people could go, well, what about this franchise? What about this franchise? Okay, let's really look into that. Friday the 13th. Okay. The first film and the second film are different. So that doesn't work. The first film is this mystery. Well, it's a bullshit mystery, because you can't even tell who the fuck is the killer until the last 10 minutes where the killer arrives, but it's a murder mystery. That's different from the second film, where you know from the get-go who the killer is. Then in the fifth film, it was different. It was a fake. It was a copycat. The sixth was different. The seventh was different. The eighth was different. Jason Goes to Hell was different. Nightmare on Elm Street, the first and second film are different. The first film with the dreams, the second film, Possession, people got pissed about that. I liked that. 3 with the Dream Warriors, that was very different. And they got their powers. Maybe that's why Nightmare on Elm Street is perhaps my favorite horror franchise. Because almost each one of them is different. In a variety of ways. So, there you go. Halloween 3 was different. And Halloween 2 and 4, at least like 4 with the fact that it's a little girl who's the main star. At least that brought a fairly different dynamic. Halloween 2 having all takes place in a hospital, they gave a different feel. Some may say that's not enough. Here it's just an event happens, they see a vision, the vision happens, they wake up, they escape, a few people are alive, they did kill one by one, they think they made it out, holy shit, we're screwed, we all die. That happens in 3, that happens in 4, that happens in 5. 3, 4, 5 is the same goddamn fucking movie. It's just... Only here, it's NASCAR. which, to be honest, I think is of the five, because I've seen these films before. I haven't seen the new one, but I've seen these five before. Is the worst of the five opening acts, the NASCAR shit. To me, it just looks the cheapest. And like, there's cool car flipping explosion stuff, but then there's a lot of like obvious CG because of the 3D and the other shit. So here's the 3D tire hitting the person and cutting their head off. Here's, the wreckage and phew, coming over here, and this crappy looking rubble that looks like out of fucking Sharknado coming down and falling on people. And just a whole heaping of CG. Like, you look at the opening of Final Destination 2. There may be, of course, CG enhancements. They're not going to actually tear a fucking guy's head with a fucking log. But you see so much practical mixed in there. That's why that scene still... I remember seeing it in the theater, not knowing it's coming. I went, what the fuck? Like, that still is one of the coolest... A scene involving vehicles and smashing up, Final Destination 2 is still one of the coolest ever in history to me. And it just, the way it's intricately done, and there's a lot of practical in that. You see, like, there's CG enhancements, you see a lot of practical in Final Destination 2, that opening. I say opening, but the opening, the vision. The crash, and the bike sliding and hitting the guy, and then boom, and practical explosion. Even the log, like the way they have to work that in. You see the blood coming out of the back. The guy's been flipped over in the semi, and it hits, and there's explosion. A lot of it practical. Here, like when the NASCAR, flips, that's practical, but most of it's like CG. Probably because they want to put the fucking 3D shit in there. And it just doesn't look that good. Two are cut in half. One gets impaled. The impale kind of looked neat, where it goes through the guy's mouth. That kind of looked neat. A motor is thrown, and just the speed, and it's just like you... I get the idea, and it looks violent, but it's just, you tell, I don't know, it's just something about the visual it looks like, the fakery of it, like the cheapness of it. It looked cheap compared to some of the other films. And like, yeah, I didn't even talk about the characters. The characters ain't shit. A guy named Nick, a girlfriend, and two friends. The one friend's a dick. The other, I don't know, maybe it's a hoe. I don't know. They have this binocular booze. The binocular booze was the most interesting character in the fucking scene. Well, no, the second. The first was Mykelti Williamson, who's a security guy. Because they see the vision, he freaks out, a fight breaks up, some of them get away. The whole thing happens over there with some bad CG fire explosions. One of them still gets hit with the tire or whatever. The rest are alive, and then they're trying to think of what happened. Mykelti Williamson is the only actor I liked in the movie. The only actor. And I liked him. Yes, he's Bubba Gump and Forrest Gump, but he was in The First Power with Lou Diamond Phillips. What was that movie I saw? That was Life Frequency. I'll be there. Don't Let Go or something. I forget what it was. I'm bad with titles, I'm bad with names. And I remember not minding the film. I forget. But he was in that. I liked him as an actor. And what's sad is that he has the potential to be an interesting character. If they took his character, work with it, and him be the lead, him be the survivor, him be the... Like, that could have made things really interesting. Because you have this character who lost his wife and daughter because he was drunk. He's been to Alcoholics Anonymous, and you do feel the sense of guilt. And there's a point where it's like, I'm at peace, I'm ready to go, I know my family's waiting for me. They do nothing with that. Like, this could be some interesting potential about life and death, and the guy who wants to die is the guy who can't die yet. And that could be like an interesting journey where he's adamant, like, no, I'm going to protect these people because I'm the guy that can die. I'm the guy that wants to die. So he's going to be like a protector. And when the time comes for me, or, hey, I couldn't save my wife and daughter, but that was my job to save you because I couldn't save them. So let me save you. If I die, I'm not afraid to die because I'll be with my wife and kid. So he's going to have a sense of courage. Like, there's something you could do with that character, and they do absolutely nothing of jack shit to the point that makes me go, why the fuck did you bring this up in the first place? That he lost a wife and wife and daughter because he was drunk. Like, there's all this potential you could have done, and you do nothing with it. Because it's lazy. It's not followed the fucking formula to a T. But this is what I'm talking about with this franchise. That we gotta make the same fucking film again and again and again. How about a plot where who or what is giving these people these visions? That could be interesting to dive into and delve into. Who's giving the people these visions? Or what is giving people these visions? And why? Not just the visions at the beginning, but like there's a point where Nick and his girlfriend, they look, and because of the way certain things fell, this paper says, what did it say? Through action, they were saved. And they go, oh, we gotta check on Mykelti Williamson. We gotta do something. Who sent them that message? Because if death is there to get them to die, maybe there's another force getting them to live. Maybe death is not the only force out there. Maybe there's something there that thinks death is taking things too far, or death enjoys his work a bit too much. Like, yes, we all live and die, but death is enjoying it too much. So maybe there's one who wants to take over death's job. I don't fucking know. Or one who thinks death is taking things too far, or is being too much of a dick or something. I don't know. Maybe death and God are pissed off at each other. I don't fucking know. But maybe that's some stuff we could go into and be interesting bits of story. But no, we can't do any of that because we gotta do the same fucking movie. So after the opening spoilers, there's a few people that are alive. There's the lead, Nick. See, I try to remember these fucking characters' names because there's such nothing. Nick, his girlfriend, the two friends, Mykelti Williamson, this racist guy, this guy who's a mechanic, and this mom of these kids that she gave tampons for earplugs. Any mom that gives their kids tampons, you should be going to jail for that. Fucking dumbass. So the racist blames Mykelti Williamson because I could have gone back to get my wife. Mykelti stopped him because, hey, you're going to die too. So he decides to burn a cross in front of Mykelti Williamson's place. And because of the Rube Goldberg method, he gets dragged and he gets on fire and there's an explosion. And anytime the 3D stuff happened, it just got annoying because I'm not watching these movies in 3D. The 3D I don't think works that great at home. I don't own these films to watch them in 3D anyway. That's the thing, a lot of these movies you don't watch on streaming. I don't know if they have 3D versions of these movies streaming. If they don't, then it's rather fucking pointless. Maybe they do. But if they don't, then it's rather fucking pointless to see all this shit going at you, isn't it? That and the fact that when people went to the theaters, the 3D version cost so much more. That's why 3D died down. One thought after that racist dies, this girl's watches this cartoon, and I'm sitting there going, what the fuck cartoon is this? Where the cartoon is like, my ass is on fire, my ass is on fire. I'm like, what fucking cartoon is this? It's like it's not Looney Tunes, but it's kind of done in that style. And someone's running around saying, my ass is on fire. I'm like, what cartoon is that? I'm more curious to know what the fuck that cartoon is. I'd rather watch that than this fucking movie. What is that cartoon that says, my ass is on fire? My ass is on fire too, but you don't see me complaining, cartoon. So next the mom, the MILF, whatever, she's getting her hair cut. A ceiling fan falls. This kids are being a ruckus. She comes out. There's a lawnmower guy. A rock shoots out, hits her in the eye. And there you go from there. I'm like, oh, okay. Let's time a reaction. Oh, okay. Because I don't care about the character. You know, it's the death is fine. Then they talk to the mechanic. The mechanic's like, no, you know what? I'd go with dangerous machinery. If I was to die already, I would have died already. So this van goes buck wild, stops in front of him, and then this tank fires, hits him, goes to the fence. I guess when it hit him to the fence, it was with such force, his body went through the fence like that fucking guy in Resident Evil, the movie, with the lasers, and he fell apart. And it just looked so stupid. It looked goofy. The effects looked bad. Really bad CGI. I went, pfft, because of how shitty it looked. I laughed because of how shitty it looked. I don't think that was the intention. To go, this looks really shitty. Again, I don't think that was the intention. That might have been the worst death in the movie because it was the most dumbest looking death in the movie. You can't tell me that CGI didn't look like shit. Whereas like him, like pieces going through the fence. I'm like, okay. I know, and also, that's another thing. I know those tanks can hit you with a big force. Not enough to go through the fucking fence like that, like it did there. The whole thing would just collapsed and done that. Or something. Not like it did in this. It was just stupid. Then their two friends are next. The asshole and the girl. The asshole gets sucked into a pool. And blood comes out. And I'm like, that's how I feel. I thought it was just kind of a lame death. His ass gets sucked to a pool. Don't get the baby Ruth. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Caddyshack. Yeah, just like, okay. Talk about giving him a new asshole. I don't know, it didn't do anything. Talk about sucking ass. Well, that death sucked ass, I'll put it that way. Then the girl almost drowns in a car wash, and they save her. I'm like, okay. Cue the song Car Wash. Mykelti Williamson, he said, I'm at peace. I'm ready to go. And I don't know. I'm kind of sitting there going, man, there's so much more you could have done with Mykelti Williamson's character, and you do absolutely nothing with it. And that's more annoying than anything to me. He tries to kill himself. He can't. They wonder if saving the one girl's life did anything. Then they realize, oh, this guy they thought was dead is actually alive. And to be honest, something like that they already did in Final Destination 2. Where they thought one thing happened, but actually another thing happened. And that's the girl, I forgot her name. The girl, was it like Hispanic girl? Like they thought she died, but she was alive. There was something like that in Final Destination 2. So even that wasn't a, like, that's the thing, like, even the stuff they think they're being clever on, it was already done in another fucking installment of this franchise. Can't even talk right. Them saving someone, well, they've already done that before in the franchise. Them, oh, they thought this person was alive or dead, but they're not. That's where that was already done. So this guy who wore his cowboy outfit is still alive. He's in the hospital, and the tub up above falls on him. Okay. So then him and the lead guy, Mykelti Williamson, walk out. Mykelti talks about deja vu, and he gets hit by the ambulance just like the girl got hit by the bus in the first film. Only when the girl got hit with the bus in the first film, it looked better. And that was in 2000. This was 2009. And it looked worse. And then also pisses me off because Mykelti Williamson, again, all the stuff you could do with this character, you do nothing for a lame gag. Also, it makes me wonder who the fuck was driving that ambulance and not paying attention. Because it's not like as soon as they go, it's like they're on the road for a little bit, and someone's not watching, slowing down, honking. You know, there's a thing called a horn. You do this. I'll talk about this in the fifth one, which should be the next video. You know what a movie should be? Investigators looking into the businesses that these people die in. That's the Final Destination film I want to see. All the fucking lawsuits all these companies have, where the lawsuit against the lawnmower guy who didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and I'm sure the kids are alive. Like, motherfucker, you're smoking a cigarette. The lawsuit that guy goes through. The next one, the spa and the laser eye surgery. All the lawsuits all these companies go through. That's the movie I want to see. Because some family's going to be making a shitload of money with negligence. I'll say that. Because goddamn. And that ambulance is like, okay, where the fuck, like, they were on the road for a while, and were you just not paying attention? You're supposed to pay attention to the road. Someone's going to get fired. So Nick's girlfriend and the lady they saved at the car wash, they go to a movie theater. A fire breaks out, some explosions, some really bad looking explosions. And one gets impaled. The lead guy gets to the girl. And probably the only death I was kind of interested in was the escalator. Just the idea of being chumped up by an escalator is definitely a visceral image. And yeah, there's some CG, but there's, with the way it's edited and the way it's done, that I didn't mind, that death. Although, again, there's some bad CG. Because I like the idea behind it. Makes me think of the X-Files episode, Tombs, where Tombs got ate up by the escalator. Then you find out that was all a vision. He couldn't save Mykelti Williamson. He gets there. He puts out the fire. He saves them. They get to a cafe. Then he goes, wait a minute, what if death wanted us here all along? A truck comes by and hits them. Kills all three of them in X-ray Mortal Kombat style. Like the video games where you have the X-Way. X-Way. Yeah, well, X-Way. It's talking like Elmer Fudd. X-Way. Which I first saw that in Sony Chiba's The Street Fighter. Robin Must Die did do that as well. There's a few others that did that with the X-Ray. Here they did it this way. Which they do in the opening credits, have the X-Ray stuff, so that doesn't come out of left field. But it's still I guess a different way. But they did it for the 3D. because when the bones break off, they want the bones to be, the bones or the teeth. Like one hits and you see the teeth fly off into the screen. So that's the way they did the X-ray stuff, is for the 3D. But Darren, if you're not watching 3D, it's just like, okay. Nowadays, just people think of Mortal Kombat. But like, okay, all right, sure, gotcha. And this film did well at the box office. It did fairly well. So they got their money and then some. I'll give credit that it's an hour and 16 minutes without credits, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. Some may get some fun with the deaths. Again, the escalator one I'll give you. The others, it's like, okay, I mean, there's a lot of worse ways you could spend your time watching a movie. There are. But it just... If you just want to see the Rube Goldberg deaths, okay. Although this, I think, has some of the weaker ones. Like the pool bit, and I think when Mykelti gets hit, it looks shitty, and it's just a rip-off of the bus in the first film. So it's lazy and cheaply done. I think the opening car crash stuff, it looks cheaper than the others. It looks more low budget than the others. I know even the guy who produces, like, was the producer? When the new one came out, the guy said that this was the worst one. I guess a lot of fans say this is the worst one. So it seems like even people who like these films think this is the worst one. I think it's the shortest one, so that's good, but... Yeah. It's just... The characters suck except Mykelti Williamson, and he's given nothing to do. The NASCAR stuff is not as well handled as it could have, with a lot of cheap effects. Other than the escalator deaths, a lot of the deaths just seem kind of meh. The X-ray stuff at the end I thought was a bit cringe, a bit goofy. The music was forgettable. The protagonists are very forgettable. No Tony Todd in this movie. No Tony Todd at all. He was a voice you heard in part 3. He does show up in the next one. But yeah, no Tony Todd in this. I was a bit surprised. I wonder... He might have been doing another movie. He might have been doing another movie when this came out. I don't remember what movie it would have been. But I think that's what I read, is that he was doing some other movie while this was happening. Not that it would have saved it, but still. I just say, like, what plots... Like, okay, how about this? How about a plot where they make it a stickler that unless it's your time, you cannot die. No matter what. They did it in Final Destination 2, where the guy tried to do it, he couldn't do it because it's not his time yet. What if there were criminals that took advantage of that? Like, they realized what was going on, and they were able to keep this pattern going. They're like, well, fuck it, we'll use this to our advantage. No matter what will happen here, you will not die. Because this and this and this person are ahead, so they're in safety. We have like a safety bunker that there's no way it's been protected, and we all watch the other. So you stay there, and we'll go do this crime, this robbery, and no matter what, they can't get shot, they can't get killed, they can't do nothing. They're like invincible, and then these criminals use that to an advantage. Well, I don't know, maybe there's people who are like thrill seekers, or people that are studying death, and like there's gotta be other ways of approaching this in different, unique ways. That still, you can have the Rube Goldberg deaths, but the plot is not as formulaic and not the same. But they make money, so why would they change it? In their eyes, why fix something that's not broken? The fifth one didn't make as much as they wanted in the U.S., but it still made money overseas. But it made little in the U.S., so they took a break. But then the new one came out and made a shit ton of money, so I guarantee there will be more coming. But either way, that's all I have for now. Next time I'll talk about the fifth one. Again, Walker requested a few. Some of them were later, so I'll save them for later because there's others that are in between. But I'll at least get these two out for Walker. So thank you. Hope people enjoyed. And I'll probably be saying some of the same shit when I talk about the fifth one. Because the same shit. Later.